the man behind the hustle and grind. This is pride, courage, determination, and perseverance. Welcome to No Luck's Given. Welcome back to my favorite podcast, my favorite episode with my favorite co-host. This is No Luck's Given podcast. My name is Dana Keefe. I got my favorite co-host in the building.
I'm Brother Luck, man. I'm here for the entertainment. I'm here for the laughs. I'm here for the jokes.
Hey, man, people be making fun of me because I do think every episode is my favorite episode. It depends, man. Everything has a different feeling, and I'm just all about the vibes and the energy. Well, welcome to No Luck's Given podcast. You know what I'm saying? Man. Episode 30 we're recording right now, and I know Brother Luck said we've been really consistent, but we're late this week, but this is a special episode for me because I wasn't booming, so I had to change that real quick because we 30 in. Brother Luck, how you doing, man?
You know, when I turned 30 I quit my job.
Yeah,
and I started a business.
Really?
So we 30 episodes in. What we gonna do now?
When you were 30 you quit your job.
Mm-hmm.
When did I quit my job? 2018. I'm 30 now, so 27. I quit my job when I was 27. I was an entrepreneur for a year and a half. I went back to employment as an employee for about, I'd say 3 to 6 months, probably. Yeah. I think it was probably closer to 6 months. Then I quit again when I was 30 years old, and this one was a real quit because I kind of cut ends on my previous employer. Just like, and it's funny because I talked about the other day, like you know when it's your last week of your job, and maybe your employer or as well, so like you have a different perspective of this. But like when it's your last week and your job know you quit in the last week, like there's no point in even coming. Like
come on now.
Maybe that's the wrong message for Brother Luck, but that's how Dana feels when it's the last week. So
I'm gonna deliver to my last day.
So look,
if you paying me, I'm gonna work.
So yeah, so I guess I wasn't getting paid, so I wasn't working. But
well, that's different.
The message.
Why are you showing up if you ain't getting paid?
The message I think was I on the second time when I made this jump, it was more of like I didn't want to be able to turn back.
Yeah.
So it was like a different mentality. All right, but anyways, this is episode 30, man. This is special because this is the finale to season 1.
Yeah, I mean, 30 episodes. I think that's more like 2 seasons. But you know what? We just went for it. We had no idea what we were doing. We were just talking. And every week we showed up and we gave you a cool episode and opinions and thoughts and perspectives and observations on the world. Right. And we just wanted to share with what was going on in our everyday. So, you know, that was a big part.
What was some of your favorite parts? What's something that, because, you know, my favorite episode changes as they come because every moment
it's my
is
favorite
different.
episode ever. It's my favorite episode ever. I'm gonna get him a t-shirt that says that. You know, I say one of my favorite episodes was in the beginning. I mean, we've had so many. I mean, Tina on the podcast sharing our story.
Damn, that one was special.
We had 2 episodes with Steve Kander, one about how we met and one about wine.
Yeah. We had 3 episodes with Kander.
We had 3?
We had 3 episodes.
That's right. He came
Kander
in as a guest on the first.
He was in on one of the first ones.
That's right. Muji stood back there all awkward.
Yeah, I was about to call him out. I was just about to call him out. I was going to say he's talk real quiet, real subtle.
We're doing a benefit. We're doing an art benefit. I'm an artist. Yo, I love Muji. Shout out to Muji, the whole team over there over at Dob Hill. They do amazing work. But you know what? I will say my favorite episode that I like to go back and look at is actually in the beginning when this thing was under construction and we had horrible lighting and there was dust everywhere. And you, myself, and Madison just jumped off the ledge.
Yeah.
It was just raw. I was like, hey, Dana, we going? And you were like, word. For real?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so let's talk about that because that's an interesting idea is the way we jumped. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because we had the idea. We even had a few episodes recorded in the stash at the time. And we still were unsure about like how we were going to execute this. And then one day you just text me and said, today we're doing it.
Let's just do it.
You know what I mean?
It's funny because my team has learned this about me, especially the ones that have worked for me for a long time. They're like, man, Chef, you so random. Like, you just go, and we don't know where it's coming from and which direction, but, like, you just throw it up there and hope somebody catches the ball. And
that was dope because you definitely threw it up there, and my ass was trying to, I ain't never dunked in my life, in real life, but I was trying to slam that joint, you know what I'm saying? So we 30 episodes in. You know what I'm saying? It was a beautiful alley-oop, and you almost pushed us off the ledge, you know what I'm saying? Which was, you know what I'm saying? I think that there's a message there. Sometimes you might need somebody to push you off the ledge.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Anyways, let's take a step back, man. This is a beautiful episode. We're on episode 30, No Looks Given. If y'all watching on YouTube, thank you. Give us a like, subscribe, you know what I'm saying? Show some love. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you know what I'm saying? That's where you can listen to it if you're a podcast listener. And then we got our Patreon. Our Patreon's for all of our loyal supporters, which we'll continue to do. And I want to bring it back. Brother, look, how's your week, man? What's going on?
You know, my week's been crazy, man. I'm sitting here just kind of processing, like, all this stuff. Like, as we talk about, you know, podcasts, and we talk about Patreon, and we talk about, like, what's been going on as far as our weeks, you know, I'm blown away because I was kind of reflecting on this earlier, and I posted about it on my social media. You know, yesterday I spent some of my day at Fort Carson working with some of our soldiers,
which is dope.
It was amazing, you know, and I'm so honored just to even be invited on the post and to have the opportunity to share my perspective of what we've all been doing over the last 3 years together. But getting that much, you know, commanding force in one room, to pick their brain and say, you know, what are you struggling with? What are you doing? The program that we've created, how's it helping? Where can we be better about it? And I learned a lot yesterday, which was great.
What was some of the feedback you got?
You know, the biggest thing is, like, so we've had this program where we've had soldiers coming in for.
Why haven't we done this forever?
What's
That's
that?
so simple. Just have it small like that.
I don't know.
That is hilarious. That's a moral of the story. Go ahead.
So we've had this Bridge the Gap program where, you know, my brother was a 92 Gulf. He was a cook in the Army.
Yep.
And, you know, he don't ever want to hear what I got to say. So I thought it would be really cool to be able to help some other 92 Gulfs because that's what I know. That's what I do. I know food. I know cooking.
Yeah, for the people that don't know, that's me. 92 Gulf is not in Florida. Basically, this is a culinary group in the military. This is their squadron or whatever. Keep going.
Yeah, so that's their titles. So, you know, we started this program where they spent 45 days in the restaurants with me, either at Four, at Lucky, doing events, charity things, all the crazy stuff we do. And the whole point of it was to get them more excited about the opportunities that they have being a chef, right? Because when you're in the military, it's like it's kind of repetition, but it's like that in any kitchen. And I think it's getting someone to understand that no matter which kitchen you're going to go through, repetition's everything. So it kind of started with that discussion. And you know, we've had soldiers helping us out with celebrity chef events. We've had soldiers helping us out with charity things, building our restaurants.
Yeah, shout out Madison and all of them boys.
It's been absolutely amazing. So, you know, my question was, before we go into another cycle, because we've been doing this for 3 years, before we go into another 45-day cycle and bring another soldier on, I question, are we utilizing everyone's time appropriately? Because it's there's wins and there's losses, right? They have to give up somebody for 45 days. That's tough, right? If you're depending on a team member to produce, but you're going to send them off for 45 days, you know, you kind of lose a hand. So somebody's got to step up and pick up that extra weight. So I don't want to put an inconvenience on anybody in those kitchens, on the dining facilities.
Right.
So at the same time, I want to make sure, is 45 days like the right time frame?
Is that enough? Is it too long? Is it short?
Should it be 5 days? And should it be more condensed? Should it be like 5 solid 8 hours of discussion? And then what are we teaching? Because like, I can sit here and show them how to make food look pretty and plate it like a top chef, but that's not what you do in the dining facilities, right? You're feeding a couple hundred soldiers for 3 meal periods, and it's large volume production. So that was kind of where we started the discussion yesterday, was like, you know, my background before restaurants was large volume production, running large hotels. Large resorts. Yep. So is that more of the information that we need to be giving, is how to think better as far as time management, as far as communication, as far as delegation, as far as execution, you know, organization. These are things, critical thinking, right? Things are going to go wrong. What are you doing to adapt to that when, you know, the truck that's driving the food down to the party actually runs out of gas? You know, there's things like that all the time that happen as you're trying to pull off these large parties. So, you know, that was a big discussion of what we're trying to gear this training towards, because, you know, at the end of the day, we want our soldiers to have phenomenal meals, but also great experiences. And the Army's putting a lot of effort into changing the perception of what food is when it comes to being on post. So
when you ask them that question, like, how is their feedback, like, in terms of like their view on the program and the value that they get out of it? Are their chefs returning in 45 days being more valuable? Like, what was the feedback off of that?
Yeah. Well, the challenge is that, you know, the soldier that they can spare is someone who's a little bit lower on the totem pole.
Right.
Right. Because that's not someone who's assigned responsibility. So I can give up, you know,
somebody else for 45 days.
45 days because they don't have a lot of responsibility. But the problem is when they come back, they're so excited, they're so inspired.
Yeah.
They don't have any authority.
Yeah.
You got to fall in line, right? This is the military. So I need you to listen to what I'm saying instead of telling me what you just learned.
Right.
So we have to change that cycle to say, okay, we need to focus more on some of these supervisors. And obviously you can't get rid of a supervisor for 45 days. So how do we focus on a E5, E6, E7?
Yeah.
And start to really put some effort into the leadership and the management style.
Let that stuff trickle down.
Yeah, because I think it's going to be more impactful. So
Ooh.
yeah. So that was something that was really cool yesterday.
That's dope.
And then of course Tony. I mean, man, that dude has been tugging on my heart. I called you after where I dropped him off yesterday, but like he came in here and like hit some heartstrings with me.
Yeah.
And
yeah, Tony's a real dude, man, and I think that, like, at least for me, what I get out of it is like he's a real human going through real things in real time. Mm-hmm. And like I have to have grace for his position, you know what I mean? And I have to also like compliment him because he keeps showing up. Yeah. You know, and you called me after I watched the video. I just watched the video. And I was trying to grab a hard drive, Walmart, whatever, but it just reiterated like the importance of the position that you play. And I know you're going to say like, I created this, like, yes, I did make the connections, but I can't be the mentor in the way that you can. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like, it means a lot like that you continue to help Tony, like anybody watching the story. It's emotional because like a man was homeless, like literally, like, you know what I'm saying, like 3 weeks ago. Yeah. And he's going through real life battles. And, you know what I'm saying, it's it's tough because I wish, this is my personal, like, being transparent thing. Like, I wish we had the way that we are for him in business. Mm-hmm. I pray that he has something like that in family. Yeah. Because, in life, the business part is only a small percent until it, becomes, well, for us, it's probably a majority, but like, you know what I mean? It starts out small, so you have these other things to deal with. I pray for the man. You know what I'm saying? I pray for him, and I thank you. You know what I'm saying? It was really emotional watching that video for me. Not gonna lie, I cried in the car watching it.
It was my favorite clip ever.
Because he had a really transparent, you're funny, but it was a really transparent moment where he showed, he always does it, but he shows that he's human. And all right, I'm just gonna go and say this, like his heart says the right things. You know what I mean? And I pray that, you know what I'm saying, that, well, life is tough, so like you got to go through that stuff to make that stuff happen. And he has an opportunity, and with you being a mentor like myself, like we have extreme blessing right in front of us. So like it's just a matter of us taking advantage of it.
Well, and here's the most important part. Somebody took that chance on us.
Right.
You know, so it's our responsibility, I think, to
take that chance
with other people.
That's dope,
and it's tough because you don't want to be hurt, right? And all of us have experienced something in our lives to where you have had trust broken,
right? Trauma,
so you got walls up, but you still want to help somebody. Right. So it's as much as I'm getting him to get to know me and trust me, right? I'm doing the same thing with him. I need to know him and trust him,
right.
So we're going on this journey together, but it's also starting real discussions. I mean, he said something yesterday that really hit me pretty hard, and he was like, I got my stepdaughter and her boyfriend here with us now, who's going to help me with the truck, and I think it's going to also help my wife because now she's got some support and somebody to talk to. It's just been us for so many years. Yeah. And he said, the problem is I don't know how to be the head of household because I haven't had a household.
Wow.
He's having to relearn something so basic. So, I reached out to Charlie and the team. I talked to Link this morning, and I was like, I'd really like to explore some options as far as like behavioral help. Yeah. Because I'm not a professional. All I can do is give my testimony. Like this is what I know. This is what I've gone through. But I'd love for him to get some really good advice on, just getting assistance.
Right.
Yesterday was the first day he actually wanted to join me. We host these mental health meetings on a regular basis every week, and he asked me yesterday. He's like, "I'd like to come to one." Like the desire is so big. So that's just part of what's going on. But let's flip this. David Keith, how you been, man? What's been going on? Let's do a check in.
Life is crazy. You
this said you were emotional, so let's get into that.
I am emotional, man. I'm emotional because I'm at a point in my life where I pivot. And I talked about this on the other podcast, so it's what stuck with me the most, which is basically most times people pivot out of desperation, need, desire, whatever that looks like, right? Mm-hmm. And a pivot for an entrepreneur is like literally like the everyday skill that you have to do. And it is what makes people successful, is the ability to pivot, right? Because today's number one priority tomorrow may be at the bottom of the list. Mm-hmm. So I'm at a point, man, this week has been emotional to me because like a lot of the things, especially like No Luck's Given, the podcast, like we've built, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And for it to be the last episode of season 1, I'm emotional as hell. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm emotional because this is my little baby, and you know what I'm saying? I started this with a feeling. Mm-hmm. That's really what it was because before I did the podcast with you, like the first 4 or 5 episodes, I did one podcast where a gentleman interviewed me. Mm-hmm. After that time, I knew I wanted to do podcasts. Like if it was in my heart, like that was the best thing I've ever did, was use my voice for 1 hour. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just say whatever the hell I want to say. Mm-hmm. But it was about my story, and it got me speaking about my story. So No Luck's Given happens, and like the first 5 episodes are my favorite. Like because those, I know for sure I've cried a lot editing those. Mm-hmm. It was hard to edit because I was really going through those emotions as a man, a new father, you know what I'm saying, an entrepreneur trying to build. Like a lot of those are, and probably on the podcast, they're like episode like 8, 9, 10, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the ones we record in your home, those are special. So I'm emotional because, for me, how this was built was on all of the principles of No Luck's Given. Yeah. Which, to bring it back, we haven't said it in a while, but the principles are pride, courage, determination, and perseverance. Yeah. So like I've been really living that. So go ahead.
It's been a trip because we started something just to start something and go with it, and we were having these great conversations, and it's turned into something, which is amazing. And the best part is
fans. We got people giving us gifts. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, and the impact.
The impact is crazy.
The impact is crazy because people are actually saying thank you. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for talking about struggle. Thanks for talking about mental health. Thanks for talking about
this. Don't stop building this with Brother Luck. You know what I'm saying? Like,
pretty cool.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like 2 things. One, it's like your little baby growing up. You know what I'm saying? And like for season 1 to end, I'm emotional because something ending, but I can't wait for season 2 because we'll be in a totally different space. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like we've proven the consistency. I think what's even more powerful for me is that the way that this is going to grow as we're not recording. Mm-hmm.
No, the content lives forever.
The content lives forever. And like the stuff that I have Gregory doing, shout out my little brother Greg. I have him clipping out our whole podcast into all these, like, we call them gems, like the good moments. And each podcast has about like 10, 15, maybe 20 like good moments, but there's always like, a couple that are great. Yeah. So what I'm excited about is the way that this will grow in ways that we don't know as we prep up for season 2.
Well, and even think about like how far this has already gone. So like I'm working on this book, right? And we're knee deep in it. We're getting really far with all of the work we've been putting in. But the podcasts have actually become a tool for my co-writer because he's transcribing a lot of these episodes. So he's coming back to me and asking me things that I've said, and he's like, "Yo, brother, so
about this.
You said you cook Brother Luck food, and you're excited about what Brother Luck food tastes like because you're the creator of that book and you're just writing blank pages right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't remember saying that, but apparently I said that at some point.
Right.
So,
right.
He printed out all these these amazing conversations that we've had and pieces of them.
Yeah.
And it's a trip that the podcast has actually turned into something for that.
It's a trip that you can literally go to the gym every day for a month and listen to us the whole workout. You know what I'm saying?
Workout goals.
But like it's wild to think about that. Like if you really backtrack on our No Lux Given podcast, you can see the beginning, you can see the middle, you can see the end of season 1. And the only thing that I want to say like about my week is that like the pivot that I'm describing for me is just so important because at this point in my career, my business, like I see something way bigger than I started with. Like I didn't see this. I prayed about it. I'm not gonna lie. I cried a lot, prayed about it, worked on it, and like it was all this little seed that I just kept watering. And I didn't know how it was gonna pan out, but like I promise you, my path through, learning video, even in the depths of all the video, like bro, like the website stuff, the search engine optimization stuff, like that's led me to this next opportunity. So I'm pivoting at the highest point of my business to aim higher.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's where I'm at. That's where my week is. I'm super emotional. I've been writing a lot of things out. I went to sleep twice this week. Like I went to bed. I haven't done that in months and months and months. Besides when my son is there, I go to bed with him.
That's a good place to be, and sometimes you have, I was just telling somebody this recently, is they were trying to host an event and they did it for 3 weeks.
Yep.
And it had some legs, right? You can see the opportunity.
Right.
But then, towards the final weeks, you've saturated the market so much that you're starting to lose steam, right? You're starting to lose money, right? You need to just push the pause button for a moment.
Yeah.
And reevaluate everything. And I don't care if this is your restaurant, this is your business, this is your life. Sometimes you need to push that pause button and reevaluate your life.
It's crazy, man.
And take a new approach. So it's kind of something, we've been discussing with the podcast.
It's it's that take a deep breath.
Yeah. Instead, don't just do it to do it. Do it with intention.
Right.
And that's kind of where we are right now with what we're doing with this podcast. Is like, all right, we got 30 episodes in the bank. Let's push pause.
And
let's really look at how do we move forward with what we've done. Who are we talking to? Who's listening? What's the feedback? What's been the content? What's been the driver? How's the production? All these things need to be evaluated.
How can we get it in front of the people? Because I feel like, the content is so good and, it hasn't been delivered properly. So, like, it's all about, like, packaging that product. It's all about, like, I call it the back house. Like back of the house runs the show. Like front of the house could look beautiful, but if there's nothing working good in the back of the house, you're not gonna get no service. You know what I'm saying?
It's a team effort
so,
all the way through.
I'm excited, man. I am emotional a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Especially like with yourself as well as Leah. Like y'all been my foundation, and which y'all still gonna be there, but like I'm phasing out of Leah's business. Like that's emotional to me. Wow. I'm phasing out like of the podcast right now because I have this other project that, for me,
it's gonna require time.
Is for for me, it's a dream come true.
The best thing Tina ever told me is when we were starting our business, right? We were talking about opening a restaurant. This is 10 years ago at this point. I said, I can start this business, but I can still be the chef of this restaurant for this many days a week.
Yeah.
And this many hours.
Right.
And I can still run this business and start this business. And she looked at me and she said, you can't do all that at the same time. You need to pick one.
Right.
And commit to it. And 10 years ago, that was such a powerful statement because she was right. I had to quit my job to focus on the business.
Right.
And here we are 10 years later and the business is still operating.
Right.
Right. And that other restaurant, they ain't even here no more.
Isn't that a powerful message?
So
believe in yourself to build that thing that you are at right now. And I feel like that's an inspiring message for a lot of people.
Yeah. You don't be afraid to focus on one thing. And that's what I was telling you. I was like, Dana, I love working with you. I love doing stuff with you. But I don't ever want to be a hindrance to your progress.
Yeah, and I appreciate you. And I told you I love you, dog. You know what I'm saying? You ain't never been that to me. You've always helped me catapult my shit. You know what I'm saying? And like this thing that I have that I don't want to talk about. At least I always say, like, you know what I'm saying, speak it, believe it, and stuff like that. But this one I'm holding close to my heart because this is what I've dreamed about. So like I already know, like, it's in action. I'm slowly phasing into that. I'm slowly phasing out of other things. And this will be my new commitment for the next 90 days. Like,
yo, that's so exciting, man.
And like I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, I say this a lot, but like everything I've done has built me to be prepared for the next thing.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And even when those things missed, because, all right, let me bring it full circle. I'm going to tell a story. I don't do this enough on No Looks Given, but let me tell a story. So during the pandemic, when I was kind of dead to the world, I went ghost. Like, I went offline to like most people. Like, I'm on social media. I really just try to post once a day. I really don't post every day, but like I'm not really on it that much. But like at a certain period of time, I gave up on business because I had no hope in life. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
you checked out.
So during that time period, I had an opportunity with Leah. I just started working with her in her studio at that time. I got keys to her studio. She invited me in, showed me her business. I was amazed. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was a beautiful thing. She introduced me to this gentleman who I'm working with now. That was at the same time. And then at that time, I pretty much had all this gold opportunity with you, him, and her. And literally, I let it fall.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for the opportunity mentally and emotionally. And maybe not productivity wise, because like this last 6 months, I've been in it probably 6 to 12 months. I've been in different space, work, period.
Yeah.
So I say that because I missed this opportunity, and this is the way that it came back, is that like I then came back to work for you first. Then I went and got introduced back to Leah. Leah had open arms, welcomed me back into her business. And then once Josh saw me, I just said his name, my bad. Once Josh saw me like really executing again, he reached out to me.
Yeah.
So all the things that, like, even if you miss that opportunity, man, like if you keep working, things will come back to you. But this is like what I think is going to make like all my dreams come true.
Absolutely. And you know, there's a piece of that story I want you to not drop is when you checked out and were like, you know what, and drop them balls.
Yeah, I dropped everything.
Right? A lot of us caught those balls and didn't let them hit the ground.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We just held them for you.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the most important pieces is like everyone needs to realize that, you know, when your friends, when your people, when your coworkers are checking out. Right. And you have a responsibility to not let them just disappear and feel alone. Right. And that was my biggest thing during that time was like, Dana, I don't want nothing from you. How you doing? What's up?
Right. Yeah.
Right. And that is something I think is so important in that story is like you need support.
Right.
And people who don't want nothing from you except greatness.
Yeah. That is important because in that time period, and you know the people that are going through it, relatively speaking, but you don't know how much that little bit of effort means to that person or how much, you know, in that time, space, and moment, you know, that they feel X, Y, and Z, so like that void is being fulfilled in some way, and like that's powerful. So like what I get out of that, and this is what I'm going to take away, is that like everybody deserves empathy. You know what I mean? Like we talked about Tony earlier, like Tony deserves empathy of his path and his grace and time. You know what I mean? Even myself, like in that moment, bro, like you saw me in the start. I'm not going to lie, bro. You saw me in the start. Like I did music videos at that point in time for a year, but like I was just, you know what I'm saying? That's it. I was just having fun. Once like that kind of started off, like, and then I kind of built up, and then you saw the fall off, you know what I'm saying? Fall off. I feel like I'm J. Cole. Then you saw that, like, bro, your phone calls meant a lot. You know what I'm saying? And they were simple. They were simple, like, yo, what's up? And, like, low-key, I'm not going to lie, because you know this, I ignored them for a while. I didn't want to talk to nobody. Like, in any work, form, or fashion, for real, I wanted to work at a gas station and just raise my son. Like, that was it. You know what I'm saying? Anyways. Reach out to somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like that phone call mean a lot. You know You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing.
Look what the hell. It was gay as hell when you said that. Like, I caught the balls. So you dropped the balls. I caught the balls. We hold the balls for you. That was a little funny to me in my head. But, like it means a lot that you would even be willing to catch that. No homo. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You my bro.
But, you know, I think what's so special is, like, you have to realize, like, people are going to come in and out of your life. But you know when somebody is special. And when those people that you feel like are special fall off, and you reach out and you try to have a conversation and you try to just, yo, man, I'm just checking in with you. I don't want nothing from you.
Yeah.
It is important. They hear you. They do, right? They see
right.
the missed calls. They see the text messages.
Right.
They see it and they choose. And when they ready, they ready. But
right.
for me personally, I've never taken it personal because everybody's at a different position in their life. Right. And, you know, ain't everybody at the awareness or at the mindset that I'm at right now.
Right.
So I have to always be aware of that and not take it offensive when people will be like, you know, I ain't messing with you no more. I'm not texting.
Ready.
I'm not ready. That's cool. You know what I mean?
That's a good leader. It's a characteristic of a good leader, is to understand that you can't force somebody onto the pace that you're on, or even like force somebody on their path to go in a different space. Like, yeah, it's important because I was just talking about that. Like, that's a great leader that they don't expect anybody else to do what they're doing. You know what I mean? But they will help anybody on their own course.
Yeah. But the hardest part is the lack of communication, right? Yeah. Because that's how things are taken the wrong way. That's how things are taken out of context. That's how assumptions are made. Yeah. And that's something that I always get frustrated with during those moments, because, like, if you would have just had a conversation with me, we can talk. Yeah. And I'm gonna break it down for you, or you can break it down for me. Right. Then we good. Right. We good. Right. You know, but like, when people want to just fall off, man, you got to respect that distance, but don't give up. Right. And I think that's something that's so important.
You know, in that space of time, and this is cool to talk about. We just freestyling here, y'all. This is real, raw, and authentic. But, like, in that space and time, and this might be something that's debatable, and this might be more of, like, my personality. But in that space of time, like, I don't want to tell anybody anything that I feel like, not that I need their help, but they can't help me. Yeah. Like, there's no way somebody can help me right now. You feel me? That was a mentality. You know what I mean? And at that space, I feel like, probably so, if I'd have answered the calls, I could have said something wrong. So, like, everybody has to take their own judgment. There is no right or wrong answer, because, to be honest, I'll be quite frank with you. Like, there was a moment when I was going through my depression where I said to myself, Dana, give yourself a year. And it don't matter about anybody else's timing, but give yourself 1 year to get right. You know what I'm saying? And it took goddamn almost the whole year, but like I had to understand that no matter what, I have to walk my path, my space, my time. Because, you know, at the end of the day, like 10 out of my problems were all emotional. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how do I handle this with like actually thought going behind it? You feel me? Because, like, you know, it was that's what it was. Emotional intelligence. And obviously I was a new father going through like a split and like figuring out my own entrepreneur values, like time management. What the hell do I do? Like, yeah. It was a hot mess. At any rate, we in a different phase now. We pivot into greatness, and
but it doesn't take away the fact that, you know, when you're dealing with depression, it comes in phases, right? And you're gonna hit lows and you're gonna hit peaks. Yes. And as you're going through those motions, you have to.
Someone said they're also in depression as well. Look, we're speaking to them. See? Yeah, let's keep going.
You know, as you're going through these valleys and you're going through these peaks, you have to understand what the triggers were. And know what your responses are going to be, because as you go through these repeatedly, it's not something that just goes away. Right. As you go through these, you start to realize, like, this is what I do when it happens. So I think when you start to identify that, now you can start to change the behavior, right? Because you've owned it. Yeah. You know, I know that I am going to start ignoring all my phone calls and all my text messages, and I'm going to start to kind of phase out. And right. most people, it's interesting. The fan base will notice when I go dark on social media.
Yeah.
And I'll start getting messages on social media that's like, "Hey, brother, you good? You haven't posted in a while."
Right.
You know, and it's one of those things where I don't want to get caught up in a reality that's not real. But I love the check-ins because it's so important. You know, we have to build a solid base around us of people who are just going to be there to listen, to give advice. You know, you talked about like, nobody can help me. Well, you have to identify what are you not wanting help with, and what do you need help with? Is it, there's a difference between financial or physical or time or spiritual. Yeah. Like there's so many different elements of how people can help you.
Right.
But sometimes we don't realize what we need help with. Right. Because it's not always money. Right. It might be just, man, I just need a friend right now, and just need somebody to listen to me, just somebody for me to vent to and not feel like I'm being judged.
Yeah.
Like that's something that's so important.
That circle, man, circle of 12, you know, get you a powerful circle. And I like what you said where sometimes it's just to listen. Mm-hmm. I do have a buddy that like ever since I moved to Colorado, you know, he's I was about to say it, but I took a second, and I'm gonna say it anyways now. He's my smoker buddy. Mm-hmm. But like 9 times out of 10 when we smoke sometimes, it's just literally we don't say nothing. Yeah. We just there. Mm-hmm. But then that one time when I need to just fucking spew, he'll just listen to the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And I love this dude. He listens to the podcast. He's a fan. And he's one of my best friends. But to be honest, the most meaningful things that he's ever said to me comes to when I just have to empty out. Mm-hmm. He's so intelligent, but like he don't say intelligent shit like that all the time until in those moments. Yeah, he says that.
Well, and that's so real. Because
I say that because like you need a friend to listen.
You do. You know what I'm saying? You need a friend to listen, but you also need somebody who's just there for you, right? Yeah. And I think that's like the one thing when it comes about depression is you need to feel like you're not alone, man. Like, and I think that's so real that that's why I talk about it. Like I deal with depression, I deal with anxiety, you know, the stress and the pressures, and I don't ever want somebody to look at my social media and be like, oh, that dude's got it all figured out. I don't. Right. You know, but I'm trying. Right. And I'm keeping good people around me, but I keep speaking on what I'm going through to make somebody else realize that they're not by themselves. They're not crazy. What you're going through, other people feel that way. Other men and women are going through those same struggles. Yeah. Some of them just hide it really good. Right. You know,
I swear to you, I said this on the previous podcast, but like in that specific space and time, I really felt like this is gonna sound obnoxious, but I really felt like I was the only like single dad wanting to be with his kid. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to be with my kid during the week, the weekends, and I couldn't see him. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of men that go through that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? A lot of men. And thank God I at least have a good big mom, whatever, that she lets me see my kid. Mm-hmm. But like, I really felt like I was the only entrepreneur, single dad, trying to figure this thing out. Yeah. Trying like, you don't even know, bro, but you do. But you know what I'm saying? You get it anyways.
That loneliness is real. You know, and the problem is that when we're lonely, we compare ourselves to other people's story, right? And then social media is the perfect.
That's why I got off social. It's because I kept looking at these motherfuckers like, yo, I'm better than them. Yeah.
But it's a real thing, you know when you compare yourself to somebody else, you start to get caught up in the judging. Yeah. And when you feel like people are judging you, it's when you get really, really shut down. Right. So I think that's such an important piece is like, don't compare your story to other people. Right. Because you're you.
Right. You're in a different space.
It's only you. Yep. And even if you're in an environment where, you know, you feel like you're being attacked or judged, there's always an option and an opportunity to relocate into a different area, into a different crew, right? Sometimes you need to weed that whole garden
different you
and let those flowers bloom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what Jim Rohn said this morning. You know what I'm saying? I listen to motivational speeches. Jim Rohn's one of my favorite. But he talked about a new you. You know what I mean? Like you can hear that, but like what he was talking about is like a few new disciplines practiced consistently every day is a new you.
You know, I love that you just brought up a new you, and I want to clarify something because this is part of my testimony. So you are you always.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us relocate to new jobs, to new cities,
Get
to
new clothes,
circles,
get new phones.
expecting to change. You're still going to be you, right? That stuff is still going to follow you to where you're at. You have to be aware of how you can embrace and start to love yourself and start to internally change the things that you're struggling with.
Wow.
Right? That it's got to take the ownership. And I say this as somebody who, like, Tina and I moved around and around and around and around, city to city to city to city.
Yep.
And we are still the same people every time. We thought we were going to reinvent ourselves. We're still the same people.
Right.
You know, and it took a lot of awareness to understand, like, you know, we got to focus on internal, not trying to just change environments.
That has to be one of my favorite takeaways if we're really going to reminisce on a moment with this episode 30 podcast, was joy versus happiness. Was for me figuring out, like, it's so simple. It sounds simple, but like for me to figure out that joy is internal, happiness is external.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of my favorite takeaways as well, especially like, you know, like what you're talking about is like having acceptance with who you are and who you're trying to be. You know what I'm saying? And that new you is you. You know what I'm saying? But the old you has to die too. You know what I mean? And it's slowly.
And every morning is a choice, right?
Right.
When you get up in the morning, you have to choose to be happy. You have to choose to be angry.
Yeah.
You have to choose to be spiteful. You have to choose to be frustrated. Right? Those are emotions that come from you. Right? That's a choice to allow that to have internal power over you.
Yeah. You're having the one of the side guru says, like, you're having all of your human experiences are internal.
Yeah. And I'm just not, you know, I feel like it takes so much energy to be angry and you know, shut down, and I don't want that.
Or even
like,
focus on like the negative shit. Like I feel like that's where I'm at in life, is like I don't even have the mental capacity to even think about that stuff because I'm so focused on thinking about the positive, good, what's productive, hopeful, like that type of light stuff. So look, man, this is a deep episode. I didn't mean to go this deep into my emotions,
good, man.
but I did say I was emotional and I wanted to cry today.
Well, and here's the thing: you're not the only one. Somebody in here said, you know, but I've never chosen to be sad. Right, and I think that's probably an extremely real statement because, you know, when you're sad, a lot of that comes from being hurt.
Yeah,
and why?
Yeah.
Right? Was it somebody said? Is it something that happened to you?
Right.
Is it you kind of got to get back to that source of why are you sad?
Yeah.
And then start to focus on the healing portion
Right.
of the hurt, right? Because when you get an injury, it's got to heal, right? And then you have a scar that's going to live there forever and be a reminder of that pain. But that's part of the healing process. And I think,
yo, that's deep. Take a step back. That's beautiful. You just broke me down because I got a broke ass finger. And like, but that scar is a reminder.
it's a reminder.
It's a reminder. But there is beauty in knowing that you will heal. Right?
Yeah.
That's powerful, is having that faith that process ends up healing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like the finger that I'm dealing with is getting better. Granted, it's taking too long for me. You know what I'm saying? But knowing that in the process there will be healing. Yeah. That's powerful to me. All right, my bad. I had to stop you.
No, it's, you know, and I love that we're talking on such deep subject matter because
for our last episode, because this is real. This is what we do.
But you know, you're not alone, and I think that there's this amazing world of people that want to help, that want to be genuine.
So now
they do exist.
So now let's talk about how to heal. Because I think that's an important thing. We just speak about healing, and that could be however anybody else like interprets that. But speak about how you heal. Because visually, when I'm in pain or when I am sad, I have to change my environment. Like that's my secret sauce. Yeah. Change my environment. So I'll go, you know, drive, or I'll go on a hike, or, you know what I'm saying, 9 times out of 10, if I'm really down, I'll go do incline.
Yeah.
Because here in Colorado Springs, this thing called an incline, like 2,000 something steps just up this vicious mountain. It's like an hour-long hike up, and it's just stairs. But like going on that, putting myself through something difficult, or even on a run, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Putting myself in an environment that I don't want to be in, but then being able to go through that process gives me some sense of accomplishment at either the end of the run, end of the hike, or even just the end of the drive. Like just, you know what I'm saying? Because I love Centennial. I don't know if in Colorado Springs, that drive on Centennial, that's my favorite drive if I'm going through mental stuff. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I think when it comes to me, the first part is just recognizing my behavior.
Behavior patterns.
Right? Am I taking it out on the people that don't deserve it?
Yeah.
And then I have to ask myself why. And I think that is something that is so important because I'm in control of my behavior.
Right.
How I respond, what I say, how I act.
Right.
So I have to take ownership of that, but recognizing my behavior and seeing how people are responding to me is a good indicator of where I'm at. So, you know, when we talk about healing process, it makes me question.
Yeah.
Because I always talk about this coming from a place of curiosity. It makes me question, where am I and why am I saying the things that I'm saying or acting the way that I'm acting?
Right.
Is there something deeper that I'm not dealing with or not recognizing?
Right, right.
You know, and sometimes, you know, sometimes you realize like, oh no, so-and-so said this
way because I feel this way. That's why I do that. You know what I'm saying? And 9 times out of 10 it comes down to that. Like I feel, you know what I'm saying? It's an emotion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All right. I do want to say this because like we're on an emotional subject matter. And I said this on the other podcast, but like this is probably what I've been living on this week, which is basically I heard in a speech and it talked about a tree. And basically, like the tree itself, no tree grows half its possible capabilities. Mm-hmm. A tree is always going to reach to as high as it can. How does it get to as high as it can? Well, it digs its roots as deep as it can first. So like in my phase in my life, I feel like I'm 30 years old. I'm like moving from, you know, entrepreneur, small business owner, videographer. And I was trying to create this like social media team, which I think the team is dope, but like the vehicle might change. And I'm kind of going into marketing. Like I just said, like that's what I'm going into is I'm studying marketing and working with a marketer. I think about how can we grow our roots as deep as we can to then produce as much fruit as we can, to grow our tree as tall as we can.
Yeah.
Because the only way you can do that is first to dig your roots. So whatever that means to you, I think that this is a moment where I feel like spiritually inclined to say, like, if this hits you in your soul, like whatever you need to dig your roots in, like I pray that you focus on your roots because the only way your family would be able to reap the harvest or of the fruit that you produce is going through this process. And it's about watering your plants. So like, I'm just in this phase of like that Mother Nature is speaking to me in that process of like, Dana, like just keep digging your roots as deep as you can.
Yeah.
Keep reaching and keep watering. Yep. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's what I got.
No, it's good to recognize those kinds of things. You can't help somebody and take care of other people if you ain't helping yourself.
And then the other thing I think with the emotional thing and the like the EQ, like emotional intelligence stuff, I always think like I know you said it was behavior patterns, but I think about like what am I thinking about? What do I want to come out of this? Because in my mind, when I get frustrated and angry, all I can think about is that negative thing just repeating in my head until it happens.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I had to check myself about like, yo, what are you thinking about? What do you want to happen? Like, what do you want to happen? And then just communicating that. So, no Let's Give It podcast. This is random as hell, but we doing good. What's up, Brother Luck?
The one message that keeps popping up in my head, and it's whether I'm thinking it or I'm seeing it, is the things I dreamed about when I was younger are my frustrations right now. And I have to pay attention to that.
We once dreamed about these things.
I dreamed about having these things. I dreamed about accomplishing these things. and now I'm getting frustrated by them. Right. Or I'm feeling overwhelmed. And that's something that I have to be so aware of, because I dreamed about being a business owner. I dreamed about being a good husband. I dreamed about owning a home. I dreamed about all these things that I never thought in a million years I would actually have the opportunity to accomplish.
Right.
And I got to let a lot of that negativity go, because, man, these were dreams. These are still dreams for other people.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so what are you so upset about?
Right.
And it makes me really recognize. I mean, it's just been on my heart a lot lately, but I keep seeing it too.
That your stress was once a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Or a wish.
Dang, that's even better.
And I think as we have been around, you know, someone like Charlie, who's driving around the country helping people achieve their dreams, and he's saying, "What is your dream?"
Right.
You know, man. You know, I've been able to accomplish so many of my dreams.
Right.
I got to make sure not to get frustrated.
Right. With the
current dream that I'm achieving right now.
Wow, that's powerful. I like that a lot, because, you know what I'm saying? We live in our dreams, y'all. Dream was once a wish. Woo, that's deep. Coslino, I appreciate you, baby. You know what I'm saying? All the feedback on Facebook. I just, hey, anybody on IG, I want to open this up for the last 10 minutes. Anybody on IG, if y'all got questions, we want to answer y'all questions right now. This is episode 30. This is the last episode of season 1, No Looks Given. Like, we're going to take a break. We don't know, to be announced, how long it's going to be, but I can guarantee you, like, it's not going to be as long as y'all think, because I'm about to go get sponsors for this bad boy, and I'm coming back because I'm Podcast Shorty, and this is probably my favorite thing. I just need my brother to produce it so I don't spend no time on it. At any rate, if y'all got questions, I want to answer.
So I want to go into story time while we letting IG and everybody
go ahead. Story time. Let's crack it.
So I want to ask you, what has been the coolest thing you've ever filmed?
Oh wow.
And why?
What's the coolest thing?
Like, there's a moment where you're just like,
ever
I can't believe I'm filming this right now.
That's crazy. You know, so many things go through my brain when you say that. Like, I'll be honest, like, the first thing that comes to my mind is, like, when I started filming celebrities, right? Mm-hmm. And then I met you, and you a celebrity, so, like, all my films are special. But I think my coolest film was New York, to me. Like, that
The Beard House?
The Beard House.
Okay.
Like, I could put Cali in that thing, but Beard House was special to me because I watched Adrian on TV. Mm-hmm. I had already met Chris at that time. Mm-hmm. I feel like I met him already once. That may be.
I think we had been in his restaurant the previous days.
Okay. So meeting Chris, Chris is still my favorite human being in the Top Chef world.
Shout out to Chris Scott.
Chris Scott
Chris Scott.
He hit me like in a different way, the way that he is a family man. So that experience, New York, filming all you guys, and then the moment, like, people don't really know this, but like, that was Juneteenth. Mm-hmm. Like, Juneteenth is a special holiday, and it was the first Juneteenth in that house. I honestly think that was probably one of my favorite.
It's monumental.
I mean, now, like, when I was filming it, I was thinking, like, how the hell did I get here?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And just to kind of follow up on that. So we had just come off of Top Chef season 15.
Right. And I watched it. So that was I never watched those shows. I only watched it because of Brother Luck.
There was a tweet that came out that said, "Shouts out to Top Chef. We have 3 black chefs on the season." And it was recognizing Tanya Holland, Chris Scott, and Adrian.
Yeah. And Tanya was there too. Sorry, Tanya. I didn't even shout out Tanya.
And Chris, that's why I love my brother. He went on that comment stream and he was like, "Y'all better not forget about Brother Luck." Right? And I identify as mixed or biracial.
Right.
But Chris was like, "Nah, you black."
Right. Because Chris's whole thing is based off his heritage.
Absolutely.
It's pride. So he's telling you, no, Brother Luck is also in this group.
So, you know, it started with that, and then that led to the idea for a James Beard dinner with all 4 of us.
Right.
So, which is amazing, right? The James Beard House is a mecca for any chef to cook in.
Right. To have an all African American class in there,
and
that
talking about
to me.
Our food, our stories, our history, our ingredients.
Right.
You know, that was really, really cool that we got to do it on Juneteenth.
Right.
And it was a very special dinner because they've done one
Yeah.
every year since then, which is awesome. We were the first.
Started it, right.
So, that was amazing. That was a good, man. I thought you were gonna say like Keisha Cole or something, but
No, I mean that was a cool moment. You know what I'm saying? DC on Fly was cool. Like all that stuff is cool, but like you know what I'm saying?
oh, that's awesome.
That
man.
that one
I love
was
that.
one that I was like, wow. You know what I mean? How the hell did I get here?
No, there's certain times in my career where I asked myself that question. There was a moment where I was in Nassau, and I had been invited down as a guest judge
Yeah.
for a culinary competition. Right, so they were gonna fly me out for a week to stay in the Bahamas at this beautiful Grand Hyatt to be a culinary judge, a celebrity judge, and it was like there was a few moments where I'm like, I'm walking around Nassau and I'm going to the the cookout, and I'm just kind of tripped out. I'm like, how'd this happen? Like I'm here by myself in the Bahamas, like staring at this majestic landscape and ocean view, and
It's like, how did we get here, man?
how did we get here? Like
Right.
when I think back,
I can
to
tell
like,
you how you got there. 4 principles: pride, courage, perseverance, and determination. This is no looks given.
Amen. Amen.
Go ahead.
No, but that's the thing is like your situation today, where you're at today, right? Or where your kids are at today. That's not the end game. That
Right.
doesn't have to be the final destination.
Right.
Just because your parents had a certain lifestyle and,
Right.
and that was the standard that they got to,
Yeah.
doesn't mean that has to be your cap. So when you talk
Yes.
about putting your roots in the ground and
Right.
the tree growing as tall as it can,
Right.
I plan on reaching for the stars every time, because if I
Right.
don't hit the stars, I'm gonna hit the top of the trees. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I'm still reaching up, and for me,
I like this.
like my parents didn't have money, and they
Right.
didn't understand about how the world truly worked, and didn't give me everything on a silver platter.
Right.
It doesn't mean I shouldn't own a silver platter.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
right.
I think that's something that's so important for people to understand. Is like you can achieve, if it's wealth or
Right.
you want to achieve,
Whatever it
whatever you
is.
want to live, like go do it. Why
Right.
not? Like it's your 24 hours. I think
The
that is
miles-
something so important.
The milestones change, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's something cool. Like as we think about like our favorite moments, like that changes, because like at one time, like if I'll be honest with you, like before I quit T-Mobile the first time, I was living my dream doing video every day for my job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that was a special moment. And then when I got my, there was 2 films. There were 10-minute projects that were played in the movie theater. When I watched my film that I filmed, I produced, I edited, be played in a movie theater in front of 500 people, that was a moment. You know what I'm saying? But like all of those things, like it keeps changing. You know what I'm saying? Like every day, respectively, is my favorite day. It's my favorite project, because like there's some type of a joke, but there's some sincerity in that. Is that like right now is my favorite moment.
Mm-hmm.
Damn,
because you live it
I've,
today.
I've never put that in perspective of why I say that, but
Because you live in it right now.
yeah.
And I think that's something that's so important, man. Is
Or
really,
even like the wine dinners, bro. Fuck that. Take it back to the Beetlejuice wine dinner. Take it back to goddamn like those wine dinners. Those were my favorite at that time. You know what I'm saying? Or even fuck that, all that stuff like last week or 2 weeks ago with Charlie. Like that was my favorite film. You see what I'm getting at? Like every moment means something, but I think the James Beard House just means something to me as a person. And like, in my journey, my son was born a week ago at that time. It was like, it was a huge mistake in my relationship, but like it meant a lot to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To go through that process. So
Well, and here's the thing: we all gonna make mistakes,
Yeah.
right? But you can't get caught up in living in those mistakes,
right,
Like, you
and
have
that's
to
what
start-
depression is, bro. That's what I talked about, like getting out that space. Like, bro, you can't live there.
No,
Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's a dark place.
And if you do, like that is depression. You know what I'm saying? Man, I just want to say this. For anybody feeling like that, you're living in your own hell. And I say that because you have the power to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's that taking one step, whether it's that thinking about something or even your dream, thinking about your dream instead of your nightmare, thinking about hope instead of sadness. it sounds stupid, and I know because I've been through it. It's harder than it is to be said, especially when you're by yourself and all you're doing is your, like I call it in solitary confinement between four walls. Get out of that damn prison in your mind and the physically. Yeah. I don't know. I just wanted to say that. This is fucking no looks given.
Yeah, you're hitting everything right where it should be, man. Is at the end of the day, like
here, let's answer this question. I want to know how to think positive while I am in critical and bad condition. Even I try to think positive, my mind keeps remembering the situation. You want to answer this real quick?
Sure. And,
Go ahead.
And here's let's just clarify this. We are not professionals.
Yeah,
I'm just speaking on our own.
Your situation is different than ours, and we're not professionals. But we want to help you and give you encouraging words, and this is what we would say.
I think when it comes down to how do you think positive while you're in a critical and bad situation, and then how do you think positive when you're thinking about the pain. Right. The first part, and we've touched on this before.
Brother talked about this one. Good.
Your story is hard to relive, right? But we all got a story. So my story is miserable. There's a lot of really bad things that happened to me in my life. My story and my pain, I'm meant to relive because it's not about me. I'm sharing because I want you to hear my story. I want you to hear what I'm going through and what I persevered beyond. Because I'm trying to provide some hope and some determination for you. So I think that's the first part is you have to learn to embrace that pain of the past to help somebody in the future, right? I think that's something that's extremely important. Yeah. The second piece of that is, how do you start to think positive when you're in such a negative mindset? Well, just think about the energy that you're exerting to live in that negative mindset, that pain, right, that anger, that hurt, that all that stuff takes a lot out of you. Yeah. It is much easier to try to be a positive person and live in a positive world and help other people. I find my joy from helping people. Right. And that's where I put a lot of my effort, sometimes to my own detriment. I be helping people all the time. Yeah. But it's because it makes me realize like there's still great things in this world, are still great people in this world. I could be one of those people and not take advantage of people or hurt people or cause them pain. So, it's my why of how I stay in my positive is I'm constantly trying to just help people. So it keeps me realizing that it don't always have to be bad. You can change somebody else's world with just a few words and conversation. I'm
going to feed off that because I had something else different to say, but I'm going to just stick with what brother said because I love this, all right? Because when I was depressed, the only thing that, like being honest, and I've told brother this before, but only thing that gave me hope was trying to help brother. And like it's that simple. Like I valued brother more than I valued myself at one point. And like it's so simple to me because like it could be as easy as opening the door for someone else to help them. When it's really a selfish thing because when you help someone else, you really get a positive like feedback loop from it. So it's a selfish but selfless, if you feel me, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So what I would say is like in that moment when you can't think positive, help someone else first, right? Put someone else. Brother Luck talked about it with me when I was doing running, and I always told him that like I run in a negative. So like when I'm running, I'm thinking about pain. I'm thinking about like all the things I've been through. I'm troubleshooting in my brain. And Brother Luck one time said to me, he said, what if instead of running for that, you ran with someone else to help them lose weight? And what if you were running for them instead? Would you go run every day? And I thought to myself, like, God damn, that's right. Like if I was doing it for someone else to hold me more accountable, and like it's a push-pull thing because we all strive towards greatness. You know what I'm saying? I guess what I'm trying to say is like helping someone else in any capacity, and it's one step at a time. I would encourage whoever's listening, whoever's writing these things, that is one day at a time. Give yourself grace, because that's what I've pride myself on, is giving yourself grace in your own time to work it out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that there is no rush. You know what I'm saying? Negativity doesn't just leave. You know what I'm saying? You have to make a conscious effort to replace it. You know what I'm saying? With something else.
I love this comment too. Somebody says, staying grateful what small thing
Ooh, that's
you
the
can be
best
thankful
answer.
for.
Yeah, so like
Making a choice to make it a good day and experience life.
man,
Like, experiencing life is so, I think, underrated. Like we get so caught up in this day to day, the repetition of you know the circle. You know, we talk about it. Even when you live in a big city, like Chicago, New York, or San Francisco. When you live in a big city, you live within like 10 blocks of where you stay. Like you don't ever leave those 10 blocks. That's where you work. Right. That's where your grocery store is. That's where your little restaurant is. That's everything you do is in that block. And I think back to my childhood, like I grew up in a certain environment. I grew up in a very urban environment in the inner city, and that's all I knew. I knew the pimps. I knew the players. I knew the gangsters. I knew the hustlers. Like I knew the people within my block, and that was it. That's all I knew about the world. Experiencing life as an adult has been so powerful because I've been introduced to new cultures.
Open your mind,
I've been
bro.
introduced to new worlds. I realized, you know, when I thought I grew up broke and poor and struggling, you go to a third world country, you're gonna get a reality.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's a completely different type of poverty.
Give you a different type of gratitude.
So a different type of gratitude. So, you know, I think that's something that's so important. I love that comment that you have to experience life.
Thank you for that comment, because gratitude is the answer. That, like, straight up, like if we could give whoever was commenting earlier, the simplest answer is actually be thankful for something. You know what I'm saying?
Let's get that person their flowers.
Yeah. Hey, yo. All right. Look, man, this is no luck's given. Brother, look, what else you got, man, before we wrap this up?
Nah, I'm just, you know what? I'm so blessed to just have opportunity to put words to recordings and get stuff out there. And
so
hopefully
some people never live.
Man, hopefully help some people.
That's crazy.
As they go through their journey and their struggle. You know, I don't have it all figured out. I'm working on me. I'm trying to be the best me I can be. But you know what? We got the same 24 hours.
Right.
So utilize those same 24 hours to the best of your ability. Right. Get what you want out of life. Don't be afraid to go for it.
Jump off the cliff on all of us.
Build the airplane on the way down. That is something that we truly believe in. And I'll
say it again, because that's my favorite quote that you've ever said.
Jump off the cliff and build the airplane on the way down. And that's not just business. That's life. Don't be scared of fear. Fear is always going to be present. You have to learn how to manage the fear so you can embrace the fear and push through the fear. That fear will always exist. So I'm scared every day when it comes to my business, when it comes to my relationship, when it comes to my life, when it comes to everything. I'm scared every day, but I have to push past that fear. So, man, appreciate y'all.
Hot dog. What do I have to say? Like, that's tough to follow, Brother Luck. Oh, dog. All right, man. Look, this is the finale. If I had anything to say to y'all on this episode 30, season 1, don't be afraid to grow. That's my message. That's where I'm at right now in life. Is the first 2 days I was overwhelmed, and it was really just basically like an emotional thing, because I was like sad, like ending things that we're building, and then I was thought to myself, like, don't be afraid to grow. You know what I'm saying? Because what happens when season 2 is way better because of X, Y, and Z that y'all implemented? What happens when these videos like go crazy because of X, Y, and Z? So like for me, it's all about being patient in the process, but not being afraid to grow, because I'm trying to grow in this whole marketing world, but it's really just as an entrepreneur, because my job, just so y'all know, in the marketing business, it's not marketing. My job is video for the marketing company. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to be in that environment, and I know for sure, like, anything I do, like, I'm that type of guy that I just need to be in that room. You know what I'm saying? I need to see what's cracking, and then I'm able to implement it and learn. So, like, that's what I'm excited about. Season 1, God, man, I couldn't thank everybody for listening. All of our supporters, our continuous and faithful supporters that have been rocking with us. If you're on Patreon, like, we are going to turn up that and make sure that we produce for you guys and keep you guys entertained. But we're excited for the next level of growth. Like, this is episode 30. Brother Luck, man, talk to our fans before we take off. I feel like this is our goodbye until next time. You know what I'm talking about?
No, we ain't going nowhere, man. You know, it's until I see you next time. You know, that's all it is. Bye for now.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
You know what I'm saying? So long, my friends. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? You can always hit us up, man. You can always check me out at Chef Brother across the board. I'm usually pretty good about responding back to people when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm horrible with text messages, but apparently I'm really good with social media. So
well, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm just bad at communicating. But at any rate, I'm Dana Keith, official Dana Keith on IG. Dana Keith Films my business, but everywhere else, man. Look, if y'all are listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, we thank you. We thank you for the love. YouTube is the video versions, and we have a Patreon. That's patreon.com/Chef Brother Luck. Otherwise, it's no luck's given, y'all.
Yeah, I'm gonna make some classes tonight. I'm just gonna start doing some demo videos.
We out.
Peace.
The man behind the hustle and grind. This is pride, courage, determination, and perseverance. Welcome to No Luck's Given.